Hey guys, it's Layla. I want to make a quick video. Had some downloads come in and I wanted to share a perspective with you guys. So I want to talk about fear. And you guys have probably heard the acronym passed around that fear, F-E-A-R, fear is false evidence appearing real. And we know, especially as we ascend and we grow in awareness and consciousness, that like literally the light, the food source of these lower dimensional entities that have attached to our consciousness as a collective, they feed on our fear or our loosh or whatever you want to call it. They need for you to move. They need for human beings to move into a vibrational state that's low enough for them to attach to. And that way they can feed, that way they can siphon your light energy, your light body. And you become, AI becomes a way of extraction of your vital force. And for many people, it's very easy because they get caught in the distractions of life and different circumstances that are actually being subconsciously created, and they don't even realize that they're responsible because they're not aware of their energy. They're not aware of the power that they have, which is part of all these messages that I send out, these transmissions that I get, is to free humanity and bring us back into our power, realizing that, for example, I'm just going to use this real quick as an example. I get these, like in the last year, it was installed on my phone without my permission, that I'm going to start getting these like virus outbreaks. It's like built into my phone, sold to me and packaged and mandated to me that in order to have this phone, I have to have this on my phone that can't be taken off. And it's going to alert me anytime that there's something that I need to be aware of, that there's an outbreak of some type of virus, right? So, which is a fear-driven technology. It's there to, you gotta remember that you have control over your own reality. And so whatever you say yes to, whatever you say no to, is ultimately going to cease or persist, right? So it's a simple matter of like going forward as a collective, as a conscious collective, understanding that, in order for us to deconstruct things in our reality that aren't serving us or that are promoting fear, this is actually promoting fear, right? The only reason that people believe that there is a virus of some kind is because they're told to, right? And that's a whole different conversation right there. And this could trigger a lot of people, but most of my audience are going to be higher consciousness people who understand what is actually taking place in the earth and what is actually taking place in humanity. So just understanding that one is either driven to empower you and to create life, or it is there to put you in a state of fear, bring you into a lower vibration, which makes you controllable, predictable, and docile. Right? Which is not who we ultimately are. We are beings that are way, way more powerful than people even realize, than we've ever been taught. So, all right, 3-minute mark. So what I want to talk about is that, and it goes back to what I was saying, like for me, what I do when something comes into my reality that invites me or tries to persuade me into having fearful thoughts, right? Because your thoughts become things. And so your vibration, the thoughts that you think and what you believe is what shows up in your reality. It's that simple. So you then become to understand that all these things that are engineered into our society are there to keep people and to coerce people's consciousness and subconscious mind, which is the entirety of their beingness here, to keep them locked in these lower frequencies so that they never break free, so that they continue to be this energy source unconsciously and never fully realize and embody the dreams and all the beauty that's in their heart to live out. So like for example, I'm not going to put names out here, but there's a very famous gym that's one of the most popular gyms in the United States, and it's a very low cost gym membership. And so everyone can pretty much have access to it. And so I go to this gym and train, and what I have to do is I have to literally place myself in an orb of my own sovereignty and not feed into other people's energy. If you're on the treadmill, they've got all these TVs lined up by design, right? All these people are coming in and riding on these treadmills like robots. You know, we're all lined up and all the TVs are directed right at us. And what is on like 90 to 100% of their TVs? It's boxing, it's sports. Not that like I'm demonizing any of this stuff, but like, let's look at it objectively. What is the content? What is the purpose of these different programs? There's news, there's some presidential garbage. If you're tuned into that reality, like, it's all things that are trying to scramble your conscious mind and to draw you in, to entangle your energy into believing a narrative, into believing or inspiring emotion, because your emotions are very powerful. And so if we can get enough emotions focused on competitiveness, right? So we see competition showing up in all different ways in our environment, but is it because we are being trained to see ourselves as in competition with each other? When we watch boxing, when we watch UFC, when we watch, I used to watch all this stuff. I get it, you know, and it's, again, not judging it bad or good, but let's look at the content of what we're observing, because again, your eyes, your ears, your mouth, your nose, these are all gateways. These are energetic gateways, and whatever you consume, you become. Whatever you continue to look at and observe, you're going to fashion yourself after. It's like, if you want to learn something, then you start studying it. If you want to learn Reiki, you start studying Reiki. If you want to learn how to play baseball, you start studying baseball. You start doing baseball. You start doing all these different things, right? So my point is, you have all the power in your life to control fear. And the only thing that you should ever be afraid of is fear itself, and understanding that it is an illusion. And I want to give a shout out to a brother that kind of triggered this video today. You know who you are. I've had this all locked up inside of me for a while, but you kind of like brought it to the front, so thank you, brother. And just encourage you guys, like, bring your power back. Bring your power back. Be very, very conscious. Be very careful what you're giving your energy to. You know, because you're ultimately, whatever you're giving your energy to, you're creating or you're perpetuating, right? And so as we become more conscious and we start understanding that everything that's showing up in our society is just a bigger picture of all of us. So each one matters. What you do matters, and it absolutely is connected to everyone else around you. And that's going to be hard for some people to wrap their minds around, but you're going to have to get to this point, because that's where we are heading as a species here on this planet. If you're going to stay here, is we're going to be in unity conscious. We already are in unity conscious. We've just been dumbed down and inverted and, you know, desensitized, disempowered, and all these things by design. And there's so many efforts. And that's the thing I want to harp on right here. I'm going to try to stop at the 10-minute mark. There are so many teams here right now, so many enlightened beings, so many ascended masters, so many aspects of the higher consciousness that have literally come down into this realm. There's more here than there's ever been on this planet. You don't have to take my word for it, but the more that you tune into this frequency, the more you tune into the frequency of unity and love and harmony and oneness and consciousness and mindfulness of the planet, of the people, and seeing yourself in a proper way, seeing your neighbor in a proper way, understanding that everything is a mirror, everything's a mirror, then there's nothing ultimately for you to fear, because you are it. Like, nothing can come against you unless you believe that it can, unless you give it power, unless you, through your thoughts and through your intentions, or through your subconscious programming, which is what we're all trying to heal right now, we believe that, and so that reality comes into our view. Or someone has told us their programming, and then we went along with it and we perpetuated that cycle. We added another brick to that wall, right? We're building these walls of reality, and each brick that each person lays makes it more and more pervasive in the collective consciousness, which is why it's so important to not give any room for fear, to live a sovereign life, to be responsible for your own thoughts and intents and emotions. Bring your power back. Think about what you're doing every day. Heal yourself. Be responsible for your own self. And we've got this, but you're not alone. There's nothing to fear. That's the main thing I want you to get in this video. Like Yoda said in my quote that I posted earlier today, be willing to let go of anything that you fear to let go of. I'm pretty sure I butchered that, but the point is, like, if you are afraid to let go of something, then it has power over you. And the one thing that I've done, and I know this video is going a little long, but I appreciate you guys hanging in there. The one thing that I've had to do in my personal life, which is why I can teach this and why I can say the power of this, is I had a really, really beautiful, like super rare crystal collection, that things that you just can't replace. I was nuts for crystals for lots of years, and I learned a lot and worked with them quite extensively. And then Source kept telling me, I had actually mentioned that I love crystals more than I love people in one of my videos, and Source was like, get rid of it. And I was like, fuck, no, please no. Like, I've spent 12 years of my life, and these crystals have been here when the people weren't around, and they've changed my consciousness and healed me in so many ways and given me access to so many things I wouldn't have ever had. They're so beautiful. You know, there's all these reasons I didn't want to let go of these things, and that was my freedom. That they were holding my freedom. I had put I had put so much power into those things, and this could be anything. It could be crystals, it could be people, it could be addictions, it could be anything. But let's look at objectively the fact that whatever we put our focus on, whatever we put if we give something value, then it is that in our life. So the only reason those crystals have any value is because I've placed the value on them, right? So understanding that everything in my life is energy, and that throughout a day-to-day basis, I only have so much energy that I'm going to use and create with and observe and experience. So when I let go of something, especially when I've put an unhealthy attachment to it, right? Because everything is temporal. When I put an unhealthy attachment onto something and I keep it in my world, then it's holding that space. It's holding that space where I can't do anything else. And so when I sold my crystal collection, it freed up so much energy for so many other things that were waiting to come into my reality to move in. And it was one of the hardest things I've ever done. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done. But I did it. And I was grateful after I did it, because I'm like, holy fuck, like, I can breathe. You know, it was like, I cried. I'm not gonna lie. I literally sat in the bathtub and I cried one night because I gave one of the most precious crystals that I ever had away. I even gave some of them away, some of the most beautiful, rare crystals that you could ever find. I literally gave them away to people and put my love in them. And so what has happened is, since I've done that, that energy has come back to me, and now more beautiful new experiences are coming into my life. And there's an aspect to me that's transforming, because there was so much past and memory attached to those things that I had to, when I let go of them, that energy dissipated, it transformed, and it came back to me, and it has allowed me to basically rebirth myself and to make space for new opportunities and new experiences to come into my life. So I really want to invite you guys to think about fear, and that is literally the antithesis of everything that you are. If I could say nothing else, then, and you take that away, that's what I would have you take away, is that fear is literally the kryptonite of everything that you are, and it is not real. It is not real. And I know, I feel you guys out there. I know how convincing it is. I know that there's hundreds and thousands of people that believe this. But what if you had the reality that you were the only one here and everyone else was robots? I'm not saying that's true. I'm not saying it's not completely false. But what I'm saying is, you have all the power, right? So at the end of the day, the only reason that you are afraid of something is because you choose to be. And be thankful. Be thankful for this subconscious programming that's happening, because the more people awake, the more they're going to realize that without the perception of what fear is, we wouldn't know what it was, and we wouldn't know how to transcend it, right? So the more that this stuff grabs for your attention, the more unplugged you're going to get, and the more you're going to be like, holy shit. Like, I'm literally outside of this looking in, and I'm seeing it for what it is, and now it doesn't have any power over me. So with that, I leave you guys with my blessings today. Hope you're all having a beautiful, beautiful day. Know that I love you. Know that you're so supported. There's so many unseen things working for you right now. Like, you literally have nothing to fear, guys. I love you so much. Take care.